Hey there, Sean Terry here from Flip2Freedom.com, and I am in beautiful San Diego, California, and I came out here to answer a question specifically for you. And the question I get all the time, but I've never really truthfully answered it, was, if I had a chance to start all over again, what would I do? Okay. And I'm going to tell you a quick little story, and it's going to basically I'm going to talk about the missing link, right? And it's going to tie into the story, so just bear with me here. So this missing link, I can tell you right now, is the hottest thing that is taking the real estate market by storm. The hottest thing going, and this missing link is the coolest. It's almost like technology, almost not really technology, but there's a historicness to it as well. Now, this missing link literally takes from confusion to clarity. This missing link is like, it gives you, when you don't have the knowledge, it gives you the knowledge, which is amazing. It's like the ultimate Google that knows what you're going to search before you actually search it, which is amazing. So you're probably wondering, what the heck is this missing link, right? So here's the deal. And the cool thing is this missing link can get on your iPhone. Right? It actually you're gonna have it on your iPhone all the time, and you have no idea what it is. It's absolutely amazing. It's a life changer. But here's the deal: this missing link, and when I look back and try to answer this question of, if I was gonna do it all over again, what would I do? I kind of got to look back where I came from, and kind of getting started in the business. Now, as you know, I first started in the business. I got started, and I bought this guy's course, taught me to go out and knock on pre-foreclosure doors, and that's essentially all I knew. Right? I just knew how to go out and knock on doors and talk to sellers that were about to lose their home, which is not an easy thing to do. So what I did was, when I first got started, I went knocking on doors, and I happened to get my first deal. But the problem was, guess what? I didn't have any comps. I didn't know what values were. I didn't even have a contract. I had to go to Staples to actually go get a contract and get it signed, right? I didn't know that exactly how to value a property. I didn't know what repair costs were. I didn't know how to negotiate with a seller. I would just knock up on a door, and hopefully, if they didn't have a gun and chase me away, I'd actually, potentially could get the contract. So I was lost. I literally bought this course, and I tried to figure it out myself. So, if I look back, this missing link could have changed all of that. It could have actually changed that and made a massive difference, and I could have done the right thing instead of guessing what the right thing was, okay? Now, fast forward a little bit, my second deal I ever did, I did everything wrong. And if I would have had the missing link, guess what? I could have possibly done it right. I went out and I actually gave a seller, not a title company, $1,000 earnest money. And I actually, when I signed a contract, I did not put an out clause in the contract, which is a huge no-no, right? I could have been sued if we wouldn't have closed on the property. Now, I luckily, by the grace of God, got out of that particular deal. But I can tell you, if I would have had this missing link, it would have changed everything. I would have known exactly what to do, and I could have literally saved myself a huge amount of potential lawsuits by doing the wrong thing. Now, fast forward a little bit further, I went out and I got started, and I started cranking. I made $134,000 my first year. We started buying houses and turn around and start kicking it, right? And we actually built a $36 million property portfolio from 2004 to 2005, right? Now, the thing is that, man, I thought it was kicking, right? It was the market. It wasn't me. I was a dork, right? But what happened was, I thought I was the man. So we went out, sold all the properties, made millions and millions of dollars, and then we reinvested it into large tracts of land. Huge, 138 acres, 20 acres here, 10 acres here. And I was going on appointments with civil engineers, and I was doing planning and zoning, meeting with vice mayors about zoning ordinance and all this type of stuff. Because I thought it was a big deal, man. We were doing good. So if I would have had this missing link, I could have very well avoided that entire situation. So here's the deal. What happened was I turned around and invested all this land, millions and millions of dollars into land. You know what happened was the market continued to crash. In Phoenix, it was like a bloodbath of real estate investors laying all over the place, and I was one of them. And what happened is continued. The market declined down to 2008. And in 2008, I remember Washington Mutual went out of business around June or July, right? And that literally was just made a dramatic difference. In my life, that was like the world was crashing down. Stock market plummeted 500 points. Everyone is freaking out. And for me, I ran out of money. All that money I had stashed away in accounts and this, that, and the other. We bought land. I was illiquid. I got away from my core principle, which is flipping houses and wholesaling houses. I wasn't in a position where I was generating income. I was having the income that the money I had, and I was putting it back into land, going to all these different stuff. And guess what? I found myself where I was broke. I was sitting there. I remember I was at my kitchen table, and I'm looking at all the different bills, and it was a mess. And then one Monday morning, I got a knock on the door at 8 o'clock in the morning, right? And I'm like freaking out. Okay, well, who's knocking at the door at 8 o'clock? I mean, pounding, not just knocking, pounding on the door. I open the door, and there's this thug-looking guy standing at my door, and he's there to repossess my car. Take my car. Now, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation, but I freaked out. My heart was beating out of my chest. I was like going, holy cow. And you know what? If I would have had that missing link, I could have avoided that situation, not only for me, but me and my family. Now, what I did was I went out and I started handwriting letters from my kitchen table, yellow letters, and sending them out to lists, trying to get a deal, doing anything I could do because I was literally just desolate, right? And thank God I actually avoided the whole, the guy taking my car, repo car thing, but but the bottom line is I had to start somewhere, so I started writing letters. And I got up and going and started doing deals, but you know what? I was too cheap because, see, this missing link cost some money. But I thought I knew everything. I thought I could do it on my own. And I didn't want to invest in that missing link. So what happened is now I turn around, I started working, and there has been so many times during this process that I wish I would have had this missing link. So I want to answer your question. And your question is, if I could start all over, what would I do? And to answer that question is I would hire a coach. That is the missing link. It bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to go. The best people in the world have coaches. You got Michael Jordan, you got LeBron James, you got Tiger Woods, you got, all the other incredible athletes that we, right, idolize and we look up to, and they get paid millions and millions of dollars. And you know what? All we have to do is take the same principle and put it to this. But now we have a dilemma, right? Who is a person, right, that has enough credibility, enough values that is going to be able to fulfill that role? So I went on a quest looking for that missing link, someone that could be that coach, someone that had credibility, that does what I do, wholesale houses, flip houses. And guess what? I looked and searched and, went this, I've been looking for a while, And what happened is I finally found somebody. And I looked at their business, and I looked at their ethics, and I looked at their values, and I looked at what they've done. And proof is in the pudding. He does more, and his team does more, and his family does more in a month, right, than sometimes I even do in a year. And when I have a question, I ask him. All right, so let's go meet him right now. Ken, thank you so much for having me in your home
brother.
with your
Welcome.
family. And I can tell you guys, this place is absolutely spectacular here in San Diego, California, overlooking the ocean. It's absolutely beautiful. And I can tell you, from a standpoint of someone that's going to be a coach, I've done a ton of research, and I've been approached by people, this, that, and the other, to actually fill that void for me of that missing link. And I tell you, with Kent's values, what he stands for, the products that he has developed that I use every single day of my business, between Cash Buyers Now and Find Motivated Sellers now with Vacant House. I use it every single day, and I've been telling you guys to use it every single day. The bottom line is that he has the highest credibility and the highest standards. Now, the interesting thing is, it's very difficult to find someone that actually in this business, right, that we're talking about, flipping houses, that does a lot of deals. And see, the cool thing about him and his family and the business that he runs, he does more in a month, or maybe more in 2 months, than I do an entire year. So what happens is he has way more knowledge than I do. So if I go back and I answer that question, what would I have done all over again? And if I knew him, I would have hired a coach, someone like Kent Clothier, that has the credibility. He's genuine. He and runs a tight ship. Someone that can really do a phenomenal job, and not only with me, but also with you guys. So, Kent, again, thank you so much for being here. It's been an absolute
pleasure. I'm glad you're here. It's funny. I was listening to you talk, and I was like, man, it's amazing how much. Every time I hear you talk about your story, it's funny how much our stories are alike in a lot of ways, right? I mean, kind of going through a lot of the same stuff. It's fascinating.
Yeah. And the thing is that we had, it's like, you have struggles, and the problem is, if you're brand new and you're getting started and stuff like that, if you have struggles and you're up and going and you don't have anybody to reach out to, like the cool thing is I talk about the missing link is the technology. It's on your phone. I got his number on my phone, so I can call, and if I have a question, he's able to bridge that link. So, which is amazing.
Yeah, it was. I think what's interesting, as I was sitting there listening to you talk, I was trying to, kind of think about some of the things that have gone on in my life and some of the students we've worked with and over the years. And, the reality is I just don't think people appreciate or understand, is probably a better word, that this opportunity is there and what the real value of it is, right? I mean, there's a lot to be said for leverage.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably the most powerful concept when it comes to being very successful, right? Is that when you have the ability to leverage technology, people, processes, all their wisdom, their experience, it's invaluable.
Yeah.
Right? It's suddenly, when you've got somebody that'll sit there and clear the path for you, and like when you call me or whatever, and I say, hey, this is how I've done it, this is what I would tell you to do, that one call could quite literally save you and others tens of thousands of dollars, just like it did for me when my mentors did it for me.
If I would have called you back in 2008 or 2006 when I had all this money, should I invest in land as a time? And maybe you would have told me one thing different, and I would have not taken that choice, or maybe had a different perspective that could have saved me a ton of heartache. So, we talk about coaching, right? It's the ultimate hack. It's the ultimate hack. It's like, you're looking for, the easy way out or the fast way. How am I going to get there quicker? Because we all want to go from point A to get to point B as fast as humanly possible. There is no other way that I personally know to go from here to here, right, without having someone as a coach that can help you along those ways to overcome obstacles. It's the whole 10,000 hours to mastery. Right? Well, if you've been doing this for, 500 hours or 1,000 hours, and I've been doing it for whatever hours, and he's been doing it for thousands and thousands of hours, well, guess what? That's the ultimate hack. You can have 500 hours under your belt and have a coach that could literally be able to accelerate your success amazingly fast. And it is that leverage. It's the leverage.
The analogy that it's funny, I recently took my kids up to Disney World.
Yeah.
And
Disneyland.
Disneyland. And it was funny, when you get up there, they have the Fast Pass, right? And so it's, okay, you can stand in line if you want for hours, or just go to the front of the line.
Go to the front of the line.
Right? Pay a little bit more, get a little bit of VIP access, and go right to the front of the line. What's your time worth? So for me, my family, this is a no-brainer, right? I want to get there as fast as I can, and it's a very similar situation here, right? At the end of the day, you want to get to the front of the line.
Right.
You want to get there as fast as you can. The one thing we don't have, anything that we don't have to spare, is time.
Yeah, time. Yeah.
It's that simple. When you suddenly realize that you want to get there as fast as you can get there, when you want to own your time, and that's the way you define success, and you have a coach that walks you through that process and kind of helps you to get a little rewired.
Right.
The world suddenly unlocks. Right? You just kind of look at things differently. You look at the business differently. You make these determinations on whether I should go and get involved in
multiple land
right,
deals.
a land deal, or should I just stay in my lane and stay focused and create this business and these processes that allow me to leverage the other people, other processes, and give me more of my time back?
Right.
Do I want to put more time in, or do I want to take more time out for my family? These types of lessons are what, they're invaluable. That wisdom that somebody gains when they work with a mentor or a coach. I mean, you can go through it and learn it yourself.
Yeah. And see, I was stubborn. See, that was the problem with me, is that, I saw, maybe opportunities like this or video or somewhere, where you could hire a coach. And I'm like thinking, I could spend the money on a coach, or I could spend the money on marketing. Well, I'm going to spend the money on marketing. And see, that was such a ignorant approach, because yes, I could spend the money on marketing and I'm going to get leads, but I'm not going to be able to monetize them correctly because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Right? I'm not going to be able to get the deals done because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So I looked at it and I was stubborn. I was cheap, honestly. And I was I will do it myself.
Let me tell you, that's the norm, as you know, not the exception. Right? That's the irony in all this.
Yeah.
Right? People want to know what the top people do. They make a different decision in that part.
Yes.
That's what they do. The decision you made is the decision that most make.
Yeah.
That's
why we have 97% and 3%.
That is exactly what it is, right? So I can tell you, I'm a product of working with a mentor.
Yeah.
People ask me all the time, same question. I went through 3 years of banging around, and my big revelation was that I had a successful wholesaling business, very successful, flipping hundreds of properties a year. Doing millions of dollars. The problem was the entire business was me.
Yeah.
And so it really hit me hard when my 9-year-old daughter was born, that if I wanted to go on vacation with her, I wanted to do these things, I was trading. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can go on vacation for 2 weeks, but the business shut down.
Right.
And I just made the determination that was no longer good enough.
Right.
And so same kind of path. I had resisted working with a mentor and a coach for years.
Yeah.
And suddenly decided now was the time, because I didn't know what to do.
Right.
And I worked with a series of mentors ever since then, right? To this very day, I work with mentors and coaches.
Right.
To this very day, I'm involved in masterminds. To this very day, I invest in my own education. There's always somebody that's playing at the level that you want to play at.
Right.
And as long as you keep surrounding yourself with those people and doing what they tell you to do, you will get similar results as to what they're getting.
Otherwise, you can't do it. Otherwise, it's testing. I'm going to try this mail piece. I'm going to try this poll. I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And next thing you know, it just becomes all testing. And now you spent thousands of dollars. You've wasted a ton of time testing. So what would you rather do? Test, right? Or just do the right thing. Do it the way it's supposed to work. It doesn't make any sense. Now, guys, I want to tell you one thing. Is that, there are a lot of people out there that are, obviously self-proclaimed gurus in this business that have, do real estate and stuff. But the interesting thing is, I know them all, met them all, talked to them all and stuff. The bottom line is that with Kent, I can tell you this, for me personally, I follow him on Instagram. He has a lifestyle that we want. Do you know what I mean? It's incredible. Where he, spends time with his family. He goes on a ridiculous amount of vacations, which is great. But also, too, we were just talking about Maui and going to the Grand Wailea out there, talking about plans and stuff coming up. But the bottom line is, when it comes to that situation, when you look at your coach, right? And you look at their lifestyle and what they have. Are they a genuine person? Are they a person that is really doing what you want? And he exemplifies that lifestyle type of business. Because guess what? You can build a business, right? But then you're going to be trapped in a job. You don't want to do that. So I look at what he's doing and the way he automates his business, the way he puts everything together, and it enables you to build a lifestyle that your friends and your family will envy, which is amazing. So, and it's awesome. You'll go follow him on Instagram. You'll see, and it's just like, it's like, now you got 1 billion followers. It's like, it's the coolest thing, because you're at the beach all the time, hanging out with your kids.
You know what? It's a product of exactly what I said.
It's a product. You're real.
You do it long enough, and you figure out that, man, there's got to be a better way. And what I would absolutely say and echo exactly what you're saying is there's no need to go out there and do it wrong.
Right.
You can jump to the head of the line. You can take that fast pass right now. You can get there and start getting on with what you really want. Be honest with yourself. What do you really want?
Yeah.
I want to escape this 9 to 5. I don't want to work for somebody else. I don't want to make somebody else rich. I want to be able to take the nice vacations. I just want to spend more time with my family. Whatever that is, it's driving you. Where you want to be and where you are, as you mentioned earlier, there's a gap.
Yeah.
And you can sit there and bang around and do this and believe me, you and I both know there's plenty of carnival barkers out there. Hey, look over here, check out this new way. There's plenty of people that would love to sell you the magic pill, the magic formula, easy button. That does not exist. No. That does not exist. The reality of this business is that it is indeed work, but it's work worth doing. And it's different when you're working with intention and working with somebody that can clearly tell you, do this, get the result, get paid, do it again. And when that can be clearly laid out for you in a very personal way, by the way.
Right.
Or we're not talking about this is one-on-one, somebody sitting there and showing you, holding you by the hand. When that happens, it just changes the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it just changes everything because suddenly you're like,
it goes from confusion to clarity.
Totally.
Instantly. Otherwise, you're confusion, and then something works, then a little bit of clarity, and then confusion. It goes from unknowing to knowing. It goes from obstacles to opportunities. It's amazing how having a person that you can talk to, that you can ask questions about when you have those problems, can bridge that gap. Which is phenomenal. Now, I'm going to tell you another thing about Kent that I completely admire about him. Is not only who he surrounds himself with and his team players, which is amazing, but also too is that his entire slogan, right, that he talks about, he wears on his wrist, is the time is now, and the time is now is it's very important because the time isn't tomorrow, right? That's a procrastinator. You want to be successful. Right? So when a successful person, and what I've learned from mentors, like Ken, is that the time is now. Now is the time to execute. Now's the time to make a decision. Now's the time to get up and going. Why? Because guess what? Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, and you might forget tomorrow. But the cool thing about him is now's the time, and we are at a position in our current real estate market, if you haven't noticed, is on fire. On fire. And you're missing it. Why? Because you're trying to figure it out. See, the time is now. The market. It's going insane right now.
No doubt. We've been waiting for this for years.
I know. In 2008, I was just reading the paper, going, "Please, when it come back? It's come back, and it's going back." And now is the time to be able to do that.
Absolutely. And it is our mantra, right? We live this and believe this at the deepest, with every fiber of our body, right? Our entire community, our entire company is based on this one philosophy: is we don't want to waste time. We don't want to waste the opportunity. As you just said, tomorrow may never come. So let's go and do everything we can to create the ultimate life now. Right? Design a business and design processes and design automation and tools that do one thing. They free up time so that you can go spend it doing what you want. It's not back yourself into a corner where suddenly you own a 60-hour-a-week job all over again, right? And again, just lessons that we've learned over the years and working with really, really smart people. Again, I can tell you that you are absolutely a product of the people you surround yourself with. So ask yourself, who are you surrounding yourself with? And given the opportunity to surround yourself with people that are living the life you want, doing exactly what you want, spending their time doing exactly what you would spend your time doing, that's who you have to take the time to surround yourself with. Take it really, really seriously. That's the first step. Because when you get through that door, when you step through that door, an entirely new world begins to open up, and people, they begin to rewire you and allow you to think very differently. I promise you. Just ask yourself right here. We've been talking here for a few minutes, and the reality of it is just in the few minutes we've been talking, it should be pretty obvious that if you had the opportunity to surround yourself with us and the people we surround ourselves with, you would immediately just start thinking differently. Now you start putting a plan in place.
It's like this. It's like the successful people you're around, some incredible names, and you go, hey, we're going to go change the world, right? And you think they do it tomorrow?
No.
You know, they're going to do it now.
Right.
You know, they're going to do it right now. And the cool thing is, you know, and like I said, I've been looking, you know, for someone of his caliber and the team he surrounds himself. But he has a gentleman sitting by him, Justin Colby, who has been I've actually worked with him in the Phoenix market. He does deals in Phoenix. We've done deals together in Phoenix, flipping houses and stuff, and it's been really cool. And then now they've collaborated and worked together, and it's cool because I know Justin does deals. There are some companies out there that I've talked to and look at that they'll pay some guy, you know, $10 an hour to get on the phone with you that doesn't even know real estate. They got a manual. Yep. They're going through, let me see, I got a manual of how do you negotiate with a seller? Well, you have to do this. This guy's doing deals. He's in people's houses. He's talking to sellers. He's answering the phone. He's doing marketing. He's building a buyer's list. He gets it, which is cool. And to have him part of it just makes it, for me, you know, it's just like, it just makes it even better.
So, Sean, if you don't mind, let me talk to him real quick just about leverage before I turn it over to you, Justin. But this is a perfect example of what I mean by leverage. Right? For years, I went out and I was working one-on-one with our students, and only work with a very small group of students each year because just as a product of time. But in the last 2 years, we've made a very conscious decision because we're so passionate about helping people that we wanted to get our methodologies, our systems, we wanted to get into the hands of as many qualified people as we can. Absolutely.
Right.
So Justin and his partner are two of our most successful guys out there that use our systems out there.
Killing it.
And doing
Drive me crazy. We're in the same market. Why'd you do that?
Doing a
Just
lot.
got a deal today.
Hey, no, don't do it. Don't forget the coaching. You know, forget about it. You know, especially if you're in Phoenix, turn it off.
Right.
So now Justin who's responsible for student development for Real Estate Worldwide, is out there with a group of coaches that are going out across the country each and every week, changing people's lives. Right? Yeah. They're getting on the phone. They're in people's homes, really letting and showing them what it means to get involved in this business in a very meaningful way.
Yeah.
Go to people's houses.
We do. We actually give them the option to either come to us in our office and see exactly what we do, the systems that we run, our organization, and see how to build a real successful real estate investing office, right? Just like you run, just like I run.
Exactly, yeah.
And or we have our coaches at times go to the actual students where they can actually go to their market, look at their market, analyze their market, and help our students figure out what works in their market, right? I mean, how valuable would that have been even to someone like me? I have a similar story with you guys. You know, I did it long enough until I ran into my friend Kent here, who really mentored me and showed us the way. And ever since I met him, my life has been incredible, right? So, Sean, as the head of student development, my goal, what we actually do, it's not even a goal, what we do is bring on real estate investors as coaches. These are people just like you, me, or Kent, who are really doing deals and can show all of our students how to really do a deal in their market. The systems, the organization, time blocking, all the way down to the smallest things in your business.
Like how to comp a property, maybe?
How to comp a property, right?
Totally, right?
Yeah,
How to make an offer.
Yeah, how to make an offer. How to, how to go low. How to get a seller to take a super low ball offer and not kick them out of your house.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
You got to know how to do that.
These things are so simple to something that we've built over years and years of learning, but quite frankly, just like you, Sean, I did it long enough, and I hit my head against that wall until I also found Kent, and he really changed my thinking and what we were doing, the systems and organization, and we teach the basics of how to write a contract to how to negotiate a deal that seems like it won't ever happen.
Right. So a lot of you may be sitting there right now, and and I appreciate that, Justin. And you think you know what you know, right? You know what you know. I was the exact same way. Everyone's the exact same way. But the bottom line is, you don't know what you don't know. And see, the thing is that unless you hear or see or it happens to you about a real example, then it becomes apparent in your life. So here's this. I ran a Google AdWords campaign, and I'm sitting there and I have all my stuff and I talk about that where I get sellers and motivated sellers. Well, what happened was I put all these keywords into Google and I ran it since late 2012 and ran close to about $300,000 that I spent on Google right? Well, what happened is I went in and looked in Google. I spent some time. I was like, holy cow, our cost per lead's crazy. How can I get it down? I spent some time in there, and I looked at all the keywords that were converting, right? And then looked at all the keywords that were not converting. Well, there is a thing inside of Google that all I had to do was press a button, and it would give me all the keywords that people typed in that made a conversion. So I downloaded a spreadsheet. I looked at all the different numbers, and on there, out of that, $86,000 was money that I spent on converting keywords. The balance of the money right there was done where it was completely blown out the door. I literally lost that amount of money out the door, 200 and whatever it is. 75% of the money gone out the door because I didn't know what I didn't know. Now, what I should have done is picked up the phone, right? If I knew at the time, right? And called Kent, who has a guy that can run Google AdWords campaigns that would have saved me hundreds of thousands of dollars because I thought I knew what I knew. Guess what? You're going to have that same situation come up. But the problem is you're not going to know because you don't know what you don't know. You know, and that's the scary part. You know, you think, I know what I know. And no, you don't know what you know. It could be one little tweak that could cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. So,
yeah,
my mistake.
No, I mean, you know, a lot of people just project ultimate success on somebody they see on the videos or whatever, and they don't realize that we're all still learning a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And so we always have somebody, if we're smart, we have somebody that we're turning to, a mentor, a coach, a mastermind that's kind of, again, saving us some of these mistakes along the way. And they still happen, but it's, man.
I think you said a key statement, right? You said a key statement. If they're smart, right? See, I was a dumbass for a long time, you know, and I go back and I'm going, what I shoulda, woulda, coulda, and I don't want that for you. Absolutely not.
So let's talk about, you know, let's tell them how to get involved with us.
Okay. So essentially there's a form below. And here's the thing, is that there's two types of people, right? There's listening to this. You think you know what you know, right? And you're going to think, well, you know, I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing, or I'm going to try it. You know, we want people that are committed to their success, you know, because it's a team effort to work with you to become successful. It takes a team to do it. So if you're putting in 50% and we're putting in 110%, that doesn't work. We need someone to put in 110%. We can put in 110%, and boom, guess what? Success and results happen. So there's two types of people. There's either one type of person that's saying, hey, you know, I don't know, I'm gonna try it, see if it works, I don't know, whatever, and kind of, you know, are kind of wishy-washy. You know, in the Bible it says, you know, you either hot or you're cold, or I'll spew you out of my mouth. Well, guess what? I don't want to be the guy spewed out of God's mouth because I'm spineless, right? So the bottom line is this, is that you got to make a choice. And the choice is, are you committed to your success? Do you want to make this happen? Do you want to be part of an elite group where guys like can come out to your house? We've got elite groups where we pull people together and of the most successful people and bring them in a room and talk about concepts that will dramatically change their business.
Absolutely. I mean, I think I'll just echo what you said. At the end of the day, it's just a choice.
Yeah.
It's a black or white. It's A or B, right? At the end of the day, we have an amazing track record with our students. We take a lot of pride in, again, not wasting time. We take a lot of pride in aligning ourselves with students that are committed, that want it, and then are willing to do the work to get it,
right,
willing to follow our lead, and willing to allow us to play a role in their success in a very meaningful way. We certainly understand that we're not right for everybody. We get it. Yeah. So it's a really simple process. If you are committed, if you are you're passionate about this, you're sick and tired of being beat up and sick and tired of, you know, making somebody else rich and getting banged around, and you just want to move to the head of the line, and you just want to align yourself with people that are really doing it in a real way, and in turn allow them again to kind of come into your home and play a real role and become a part of a community, then you need to apply below. And the process for us is that we take a look at each and every one of these applications. We evaluate them internally, and we decide who in turn is a good applicant, and then we get on the phone, do interviews, make sure that we all agree that we are a good fit, and then we take the next steps in getting you involved and becoming a part of our program. It's not a layup. I will tell you the one thing that people find this to be, you know, it's pretty obvious that through our own real estate businesses and what have you, it's no longer about money. It's about time. And so
we work with people that want to be helped.
Yeah, we get a choice in this matter. We've had plenty of people that come to us with plenty of money. They're just not a good fit. We actually say no more than we say yes, believe it or not. And that's very intentional because this is a family. And if you want to be a part of this family, you want us to help you in your business, we would love to hear from you. And it's a really simple process. Just fill out the application below. As I said, a member of our team is going to pick up the phone and call you in the next 24 to 48 business hours, do an interview with you, just see if indeed we are a good fit and tell you how to get involved. And at that point, get ready because your entire world is going to change. You'll be a part of a real living, breathing community and be part of an experience that I can tell you is worthwhile.
And now is the time. The market is
time
ripe.
is now.
The time is now.
Right
the
there,
market
baby.
is right there, baby. The market is ripe, and the real estate market is ripe. Now is the time to make a decision. So fill out the form below. I'm excited to see who's going to be participating, and
And you might have this good-looking guy coming out to your house.
I might be there. Who knows?
Hey, take care, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Fill it out below.
All right, God bless.